Hey everyone, let's talk about the top 5 pulls that I'm very happy about. These are units that sometimes accidentally just pulled or just pulled on them on a whim and they ended up being super useful. So let's get right into it, shall we? Number 5 is Cacteria. Now, I checked my past videos to find out when I actually pulled her. I have no idea when I pulled her. And it must have been somewhere along the way it must have been an off banner at some point. And I couldn't find out where I pulled her, but I really know that when I did pull her, I used her all the time. Cacteria was already awesome way before her buffs, just because the 135 imperils, not breaks, but yeah, breaks to earth and water, those were good. The imbues, she also had a high amount of amps for herself to those elements. She also had 87 breaks, which were considered pretty good back then because we only had Venera for 90% breaks before Lara arrived and pretty much destroyed the whole DPS meta along the way. But yeah, Cacteria, she had a lot of good uses, and now after the buffs that she received like a couple of days ago, she has 89% breaks with awesome utility. She has that 30 or 35% fist imperil, which is super handy. Like, people who didn't pull on Carton, I feel very sorry for you. Because, like, even for units such as Avalanche Tifa now, Cacteria should be on your team when you use Tifa, for example, because Tifa's Fist Imperil is only 25%, and Cacteria, while she doesn't add much damage herself, she does do a lot more things, like the 135 Water Imperil, which pairs very well with Nicole's 25% Water Imperil field. So you are at 160 effectively, and pair that with the higher Fist Imperil for Avalanche Tifa. This is very nice synergy, and all in all, I think that Cacteria is a very good unit to have. Now, this Clash of Wills, yeah, I used her for my farming team on Threshen. There are other options to use her for in this particular clash against Threshen. I feel like she's in a very solid spot, and I can see her being used throughout the next one or two Clash of Wills, depending on whether the boss is weak to earth and or water again. If the boss isn't weak to earth water, I feel like Cacteria will fall off rather quickly, but it's too early to judge. But all in all, Cacteria, whenever I did pull her, I know I was happy, and I am very happy these days that I have her. I am actually one copy short of EX plus freeing her, and whenever I get that last copy of hers or the last shards, I will definitely EX plus free her, because I also like the design. That design of hers is so good. So huge props to the unit designer of Cacteria. Awesome job. And yeah, let's move on to number 4, and that is actually Terra Neovision, one of the very first Neovision units we've gotten back then, a year ago. She was used so long, and I feel like she was one of my best EX plus free investments ever since the introduction of Neovision. I used her for so long. Like, I even used it, I believe, 4 or 5 months ago I think I used her in my very first Clash of Wills clear, or cap even. So that goes to show pretty much how strong Terra was until very recently. And if she had gotten her upgrades, the full upgrades that is, she'd be still somewhat usable, I think, on appropriate teams, that is. So hopefully she'll get those upgrades sometime down the line, especially when we get Yuna's Super Trust Master that boosts evocation damage. But yeah, nonetheless, Terra was such a good investment, and I still vividly remember all the comments on my videos. I don't have EX plus free Terra, how can I substitute? Yeah, the answer was most likely you can't, because she was so far ahead in the meta in terms of damage. Like, even for Dark Visions, I had to take off gearing such that she does not cause a stack overflow in the damage department, because back then we didn't have the 10 billion damage cap, and when you reach too high of a number, the damage would be erroring at 1 and you deal 1 damage instead of the 2.147 billion that you were supposed to do. So that was the crazy level of DPS that Terra could do back in the day. It was very fun to witness. So yeah, great investment back then. I do not regret it. I was super happy about it, even though I went broke on the Terra banner when I pulled for her. If you want to check out that video, it is in the top right, I believe. You can check it out. I was very salty. Number 3 is Yigni. Like, I didn't actually pull for him with Lapis. I got him off a ticket. And I feel like this was one of my luckiest tickets I've ever had witnessed, because Yigni pulled through. He helped me tremendously in Clash of Wills, and he's super flexible with his physical killers or physical type magic stuff and the non-elemental magic stuff that he can use. So, I mean, obviously Dark or Fire are the best elements for him, but you don't have to, and that is the cool thing about Yigni. I was super happy to have gotten him. In hindsight, probably I should have gone to EX plus 3 via Lapis, but I mean, he's still a stellar investment if you ever pull him. The question is, how do the other units fare? Like, we do have Lara, we do have Carton, and I feel like we also have Sky, for that matter, are the top 3 DPS. And what I think is that we actually need a new magic DPS that trumps all the physical DPS, because as of right now, you kind of don't want to bring magic DPS, and that is why Yigni doesn't see play in the current Clash, and probably not the next one either. For the same reason Ibarra isn't used too. And I feel like that's a pity, because Yigni is an awesome unit, hands down. So yeah, but still, I'm very, very happy to have him pulled back then, and whenever there's a chance to use Yigni, I will use Yigni. Guaranteed. Number 2 is a shared unit, because these units, they are super alike, and if I had Thunder Sakura, she'd be also on number 2. And I'll be honest, I never thought I'd use them as often as I did lately. Now, I haven't used Roka as much because she's only EX plus 1, and I would certainly use her more if she were EX plus 2. But Lord of the Seas Nicole, I mean, I used him frequently when we were using Water Element, and whenever the time comes for another Water Element stage in Dark Visions, Vision World, or Clash of Wills, I will most certainly use Nicole, unless the designed Clash of Wills unit is kind of, say, Bulwark levels strong of a Water Emperor. We'll see about that, but I mean, Lord of the Seas Nicole is a good unit, and I like Roka especially just because of the cooldown reduction stuff. It's a super cool gimmick. I put both of tickets, and I'm very happy about that. The only thing I do regret is not buying the Sharp Bundle for Roka, such that I could get her to EX plus 2. I should have done that, it's just 5k. But yeah, I mean, it'd be also cool to have Thunder Sakura on the team, but I don't think... Yeah, no. It's going to be beneficial for the next regular Dark Visions to have Thunder Sakura for one of the final stages that is weak to lightning. But there are other options, such as the original Lightning NVA that can also amplify lightning on her Brave Shifted LB. It's a discount option for Thunder Sakura, but since this isn't the final boss, I feel like the discount option is going to be way more than enough. But yeah, Thunder Sakura, Lord of the Seas Nicole, and Roka, super cool units. I'm very happy to have pulled the latter two. So yeah, and I'm hoping that my tickets will come through once more when I pull for Yuna, but we'll see about that. And number 1, I think most people will guess number 1 because that unit is just plain ridiculous. And it's obviously White Drangling. Now, she doesn't see much play these days in Clash of Worlds, but part of it is probably the morale gauge filling. Like, Kresnik does an awesome job, and Ling doesn't really do much outside of light fire. I mean, she still is the best roll compression unit, right? She is an LB filled battery unit. She does a lot of morale boosts, even though they are rather weak when compared to Kresnik, but it's still there every turn, especially when you can use Dance of Ferocities. She really amps things up in terms of morale. She has 85 breaks, the Dagger Imperil, Elemental Imbue, Amp, and Imperil. Super easy to build for passive provoke evasion, and also adds some DPS in Brave Shift, although that DPS has fallen behind very much. But the real kicker here are the 4 different killer types that she provides. Just like Bulwark, I probably should have put Bulwark on number 1 spot as well, just because Bulwark is super similar to Ling. Yeah, in retrospect, I should have put Bulwark on this list too, but I haven't used Bulwark really much. I actually never used him much other than on Kairos, honestly. Yeah, so the reason why Ling is basically on slot or ranked number 1 for me personally is I used her outside Clash, I used her inside Clash. She's just an all-around amazing unit. And if you played the last Clash of Worlds and this Clash of Worlds, the current one, you should be able to have now 2 copies of White Dragon Ling that nets you EX plus 1 Ling guaranteed. If you don't have Ling, I strongly advise to get her from the Clash of Worlds Obnoxious Frost Shards, because she's that good. And I'm pretty sure that her time will come once again, especially when the boss is weak to, or is one of the 4 killers that she provides. It's human, reapers, beasts, and the 4th one I'm always forgetting. I can't remember what her 4th killer is. Fifth Batman. I don't know, but she has 4 killers, I know that. Human, beast, reaper? What else? It's not Machina, or is it Machina actually? I don't know. It's 4 killer types. She's great. And yeah, that is it. I was super happy. Like, oh, what I've almost forgot to mention, I should really make scripts for these videos, honestly. But what I actually wanted to say is, originally I pulled mainly for Louise. And I regretted it a little bit right after that I didn't go for Ling as hard as I should have. Because for the longest time my Ling was EX plus 1. And I think it was after the second Clash ended, that is Oster, is where I got her to EX plus 2 or EX plus 3. And that was the moment where I thought, yeah, I really should have done this earlier. So, but still, she was awesome at EX plus 1. She's already superb at EX plus 2, and at EX plus 3, I mean, she's great just because she adds so much to Clash via the stars. Alright, but that's it really this time around. Thank you all for watching. I'd love to hear which units you guys are happy to have pulled. Be it from lucky tickets. I know some of you are doing the half daily pulls, which I still think are a mistake to do, but I do acknowledge that you sometimes get your desired on banner unit. But yeah, I'd really like to hear or read your happiest pulls, luckiest pulls that you did. And with that, have a wonderful rest of the Sunday, evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you're from. See ya. Hopefully very soon for my Clash clear. Bye bye.